my horseback riding instructor said to me recently stopped me in the middle of my shame spiral. And to be clear, that's pretty impressive, considering my brain can spiral like it's training for the Olympics. And it was one of the most profound things anybody has ever said to me that didn't come from a podcast. And it happened while I was doing something that I've wanted to do my entire adult life. For basically my entire adult life, I wanted to learn how to horseback ride. Now, I'm not talking about the kind where you just sit on a horse and look pretty or go for a trail ride. I'm talking about the actual type of horseback riding where it looks like you know what you're doing and you're no longer negotiating with gravity the entire time you're on the horse. A few months ago, I started taking lessons, and the idea sounded lovely and exciting, but in reality, it quickly turned into a study of my own nervous system. Because here's what I discovered pretty quickly. Logically, I know what to do. I understand the motions. But when the horse flinches or looks this way or does something out of sorts, anything, it could literally be moving a hoof, my nervous system goes into full panic mode. It's like automatically jumps to worst case scenario. You know the one. Suddenly, my mind switches to a cinematic trailer of all the worst possible scenarios in this situation. And I know that's not logical. This isn't a logic problem. I know logically the horse is just fine and they're doing what horses do and responding to energy. But unfortunately, my nervous system didn't get that memo. Now here's the thing. It's not the riding itself that throws me off. It's the tacking up part that really gets me spiraling. It's putting on the saddle, brushing, doing the hooves. You are in a 1,500-pound animal's space, and you're supposed to be calm and confident. Yet inside, my nervous system is a wreck. Other women in my class make it look effortless, like they have no problem at all. It's like they've been doing this since the Renaissance. And then there's me, internally writing my will the entire time. A few weeks ago, after my lesson, I was talking to my instructor because I was so frustrated with myself. So frustrated. It's like, why can't I just be calm and confident? Why can't I just regulate my nervous system in the drop of a hat? If I could just get past this little hurdle, everything would be smooth sailing. Obviously, that's not reality, but that's what I thought. And mind you, my instructor is like what would happen if warm sunshine became a human being. He's bright, he's energetic, he's encouraging, yet calm, steady. He has this very peaceful energy. Meanwhile, I'm delivering my whole emotional thesis about why my nervous system is the way it is. After listening to me spiral for a minute, he turns to me and says something very simple. He says, I'll love you until you can start loving yourself. At that moment, it was like that sentence actually reached into my chest and gave my heart a heart hug. And suddenly it clicked. I wasn't struggling with tacking up the horse. I was struggling with being so hard on myself in this shame spiral. The next day, I came back from my lesson, and the fear was still there, unfortunately. It didn't magically disappear. The horse was still doing its unpredictable horse things, but something inside of me had changed. So instead of me trying to push down the fear or try to make it magically disappear like I would want that to happen, I told myself just be 5% better, 5% braver, 5% more calm, 5% more confident. It's not perfect. It's not fearless. It's just getting comfortable with being in that space. Instead of telling myself, you should be better at this, like, why aren't you doing better? I switched that narrative to, you're learning, you're new at this, you're building your confidence. Keep going. You're doing it. But wouldn't you know it, that day, my horse decided to be extra spicy, flinching, pushing me, moving a lot, and then not moving at all. It was like its part-time job to disrupt my nervous system that day. But instead of backing away this time, I stayed. I stayed through the nerves. At the end of the lesson, I took him back to his stall. I took his saddle off. I got the brush out, and I started brushing him slowly, calmly, confidently, as much as I could. I wanted to retreat, everything inside of me did, but instead I just forced myself to lean in closer. and be calm. And I decided I'm going to tell him every positive thing I can think of about this living being. Which, to be fair, I believe that that's pretty much every animal's love language. I tell my dog all the time all of the beautiful things about her. You know, sometimes I even talk to my trees and tell them how awesome they are and thank them. Okay, I'm getting off track here. That's a story for a different time. Anyway, something interesting happened. While I was doing this, I noticed his whole body started to relax. His eyes started to close, and he was leaning slightly against the side of the wall, almost like he was in this full body spa experience. But then it hit me. Maybe the thing isn't about pushing ourselves harder to regulate our nervous system or telling ourselves to be calm. I mean, does that even work? It's like when I'm venting to my husband and he responds, "Oh, honey, it'll be okay." That makes me want to instantly go through the roof. I mean, I know it's going to be okay, but that's not what I need to hear. Nor does that actually help me regulate myself. So maybe what we actually need is more kindness. More kindness in the entire equation. More kindness to the horse. More kindness to the moment. And most importantly, more kindness to ourselves. Turns out, confidence is a lot like building trust with a horse. It's built slowly and requires more kindness than we think. Confidence might not come from forcing ourselves to be fearless. Sometimes it happens just little by little. When we stop beating ourselves up and stop this shame spiral and replace it with more grace and love. Even if it's 5% more, even 1% more at a time, you're building confidence.